When the government forgives your student loans, which fortunately it doesn't look like they're gonna, you and I would have paid for those loans, not the government, because we are the government. The Supreme Court said, no, you can't, Joe Biden. So here's an interesting one. The Supreme Court, I actually have the right picture this week. Last week I had one without Judge Jackson for some reason, which I don't know how that happened. Sorry again.
So now you're just applying affirmative action to your picture.
Yeah, this is all 9 of them here, including Justice Jackson. They voted 6-3 to strike down President Biden's plan to forgive student loans, which would have cost billions and trillions. They said, the Congressional Budget Office said it would start off at a $400 billion price tag, but the Wharton School of Business, which is one of the top ones in the world, said the cost would be over $1 trillion for writing off $16 million 16 million loans to start with at the start of the case. You know, in my opinion, what really bothers me about this is I took out a lot of loans when I went to college and in law school because I didn't really have much money. And I applied under the federal grant program, and they give you really low interest and low payments. You know what I did, Will? I paid back every dollar, and I paid it off early.
No.
I did. You know why?
Did you expect the government to pay any of it?
It never occurred to me. I mean, why? You know, I signed on the loan, actually a lot of them. And over time, it was one of my things. I got to pay this off. So I own my degree. That it would, to me, it was like I got a good education both times in both schools, but there was a mortgage against my degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like I got to pay the mortgage off, got to pay the mortgage off. And I think it paid it off like 5 years early. And I was so proud of myself when I got a thing from the federally insured student loan program. Dear Mr. Nussbaum, your debt is now paid off. You have a zero balance. I was, yeah, I did it. I own my diploma. The thing that people forget, Will, is that the government is us. So if the government forgives a loan to that guy and that gal who's an art history major that works at Starbucks and owes $200,000, right, but can't get a job as an art history historian, if that loan gets forgiven, the bank still gets the money, but the government pays for it, and the government takes the money from you and me, right, and our families and our friends to pay off her loan, as an example. Doesn't that bug you?
It completely bugs me. Completely. You know, I did a short video on Instagram, you know, one of those little real videos that you can do. I just picked up my phone and talked on it. I said, you know what the Supreme Court actually just did is really a win-win for all Americans. It just basically says that the loan that you took out, that you promised to pay, I now don't have to pay it. So
exactly.
It's a win-win. I'm happy about this. Who wouldn't be happy about not having to pay your bills? I have my own bills. You have your own bills, and now I don't have to pay your bills. And I'm happy about that. So I'm really, really, really ecstatic about it. And a lot of people got angry with me, Barry. How dare you? How dare you? Yeah. Don't you see people are struggling? Well, you know what? I'm struggling too. You're not going to pay my mortgage. I'm paying for the studio that I'm sitting in. They're not going to pay for this, right? They want to, it's socialism 101. And they're actually, if I can say it, they're buying a particular thing when it comes to an election year. You know what I'm talking about? That's
Absolutely.
all that they're doing. They're buying it. They're buying it.
They're pandering for votes.
Yes.
You know, it would be, and you just made an interesting point, and I really like the way you're thinking. We got mortgages. I signed on it. I owe it. I got a car payment. I signed on it. I owe Visa. I signed on it. It's the same thing. Why would I not go, well, why do I have to pay back the Visa card? Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
better if you paid it? Well, yeah, but that wouldn't be fair, right?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a good deal. Be a good deal for you if we pay it, right? I mean,
Right.
Why not? Sounds good to me.
Exactly my
It's straight up
point.
socialism. And you know what, Barry? These kids go to these indoctrination camps in the universities because the universities are not like they used to be. They was kind of slowly indoctrinating because we have these people right now indoctrinating people at an alarming scale. But they go to these indoctrination camps to come out thinking that socialism is good. And here's the federal government saying, hey, we'll pay everything off, or we'll at least give you $10,000 off, right? And what do you think they're going to spend the money on? Oh, take the money and pay it on the student loan that you haven't been paying? Oh, absolutely not. I'm going to take it and go buy some new clothes. I'm going to buy a new television and probably even go on a weekend vacation. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Government.
Which is us.
Yes.
Like Margaret Thatcher said, you know, the Iron Lady in Britain, the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
This isn't, the government doesn't have a pile of cash sitting there. They get their money from you and me and our million viewers out there. That's where the money comes from.
Well, they do get the Federal Reserve just to print it up every now and then, just for, you know, the
but
inflation
that debt
thing.
is owed back by us, brother, and you know it.
Yeah, yeah, it truly is.
It's
all
funny
they do
money.
is, yeah,
it's funny money,
yep.
but it's owed back.
Yeah,
There's
they
no
raise our
such
interest
thing-
rates.
There's no such thing as a forgiven loan. If they forgive the student loans, Bank of America that has $1 trillion out there in student loans, they're going to get every dollar.
Yeah.
So's Chase, right? So's every other bank, Wells Fargo on down the line. They're all going to get their money back. They don't care. They've got a signature from Joe and Jill, art history major, backed by the federal government's guarantee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the federal government's going to step up and pay off Joe and Jill's loan, right? Because people just think, well, the government has the money and I can't get a job and I'm making $16 at Starbucks, offending people.
And it's really interesting, Barry, because they wanted, you know, Joe Biden is upset. The Democrats are upset because the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the U.S. Constitution.
I know.
Which that's what they're supposed to do. And now the Democrats are saying, well, you know what? We'll just do it a different way. Just like they did CRT. They stopped saying the word CRT and they just changed it. They repackaged it and they still pushed it. They're still pushing it on the kids. Same thing here. Oh, the Supreme Court ruled that out. Well, we'll call it something else and we'll just do it again. That's all that they're doing. They're going to violate the U.S. Constitution again. Joe Biden didn't have the authority to give back or to pay off 1 red cent, not a penny. He doesn't have the authority.
Well,
it's
the Supreme Court said it's got to come from the Congress, and they know they don't have the votes in the Congress.
Yeah.
So Biden was trying to run around them, right?
But they've always done that. They've always gone to the Supreme Court to get what they don't want, what the Congress would not pass. They've done that with multiple things. They did it with abortion. They did it with same-sex marriage. They did it with multiple things in the past. Oh, Congress is not going to pass it. Go to Supreme Court. Supreme Court will give us what we want. And the Supreme Court is not there to write or create laws. They're there to make sure that they are not violating the U.S. Constitution. But they've been able to get away with it for so many years. And now the Supreme Court is actually adhering to the U.S. Constitution, and they're calling the Supreme Court radical, Barry. They're radical thinking. They're conservative radicals because they're adhering to the U.S. Constitution, Barry. You can't make it up.